Hello people, how's it going? Fed here. Welcome to my channel. Today we will be taking a look on vice lore. Once a criminal from the mean streets of Zone, Vi is a hot-headed, impulsive and fearsome woman with a very loose respect for authority figures. Growing up all but alone, Vi developed family-owned survival instincts as well a wickedly abrasive sense of humor. Now working with the Wardens of Piltover to keep the peace, she wields hextech gauntlets that can punch through walls and suspects with equal ease. Vi remembers little of her childhood, and what she does remember, she wishes she didn't. Working with the Zonite gangs, she quickly learned how to use her wits as well as her fists to survive. Developing a thick skin was just as important, and everyone who encountered Vi knew her as someone who could either punch or talk her way out of trouble. More often than not, she chose punching. None of the old-timers from Vi's youth could tell her anything of her parents, with most assuming they had simply died in one of the industrial accidents that were sadly all too common in Zen. A few vaguely claimed to remember her as one of the brats from Hope House, a crumbling orphanage cut in Zon's cave-riddled cliffs. On his deathbed, a notoriously mad scrapper claimed to have found Vi adrift in a baby basket large enough to fit two babies in the ruins of a collapsed chem laboratory. In the end, Vi gave up on any notions of learning anything about her parents, figuring some things are better left unknown. Vi gathered a reputation among the Undercity gangs. With her wild pink hair, Vi was a distinctive sight on the streets of Zone. Wherever there was a scrap to be gotten into or a scam to be run, Vi was in the thick of it. Despite her reputation as a troublemaker, she followed a code that meant she never stole from those that couldn't lose what she took and never hurt those that didn't deserve it. As Vi got older, the capers of childhood became more audacious and daring, with Vi forming a gang of her own. Brass and quick to anger, she still liked to use her fists a little too much, and though she was usually the last one standing in any fight, her eyes were frequently black and her lip split from fighting. Over the years, Vi formed a friendship with the owner of a bar on the edges of lines, and he was able to temper some of her self-destructive tendencies. He reinforced her code and showed her how to fight with discipline, as well as teaching her ways to better direct her simmering anger. Despite his steadying influence, Vi's gang ran riot across Zone, with the Chem Barons tolerating their antics only because they knew she and her crew were sometimes useful. Vi became known as someone who got things done, no questions asked. Despite her life as a lawbreaker, Vi's sense of morality began to trouble her even more frequently as she saw the damage she and the other gangs were leaving in her wake. The final straw came when she worked alongside another gang on a smash and grab heist at a chemtech facility that just had struck an lyric sim. Listening in on the miners' chat in the bars, Vi learned when payment for the ore was being delivered and asked a sim to relieve the mine's owner of his gold. The plan required extra bodies to pull off, so Vi reluctantly brought the factory wood fiends on her score. The job went to plan until the leader of the fiends used a chem-powered mining golem to kill the owner with its oversized pulverizer gauntlets. His men drove the workers into the mine as he started demolishing the opening, driving the golem into an overload. The wanton slaughter and destruction infuriated Vi. It had been a perfect score, and now these psychotic idiots will ruin it. Grabbing their share of the gold, the fiends made their escape, but the miners were now trapped below ground and would soon run out of air. Vi could not leave them to die, and swiftly donned the overloading golem's powered gauntlets before it tore itself apart. The wrist mechanisms clamped down to her arms, but Vi endured the agony and pain long enough to smash a path to the miners and save them from certain death. With the miners free, Vi and her gang fled with the rest of the gold, and the following day Vi paid a visit to the Vilehood fiends. Still wearing the powered gauntlets, she administered a beating to the entire gang that is still spoken of with awe by the gangs of Zone to this day. The debacle of the mine robbery was the last straw for Vi, and she swore to never work with anyone that she didn't fully trust. She kept the pulverizer gauntlets and had them modified so as not to burn her hands wherever she used them to break into supposedly unbreakable vaults or ambush heavily armed convoys of gold, tech, or whatever else she decided to steal. Vi disappeared from Zone during a time of great upheaval, a time where tensions between the two cities were at an all-time high. Rumors circulated between the gangs that she had been killed in a huge explosion in the heart of Zone, but so too did stories that she'd struck out for distant lands. The truth finally came to light when Old Hungry Scars, a vicious gang whose murder sprees had spread to Piltover, were finally brought down by the sheriff of Piltover and her new ally, Vi. The former gang leader of Zone was now in the employ of the Wardens, and she'd had an upgrade. She had replaced the chem-powered gauntlets with a pair of prototype Hextech gauntlets. She also seemed somehow older, as if she'd seen and done things that had changed her forever. The Vi from the streets of Zone, who had used her fists before her wits, was still there, but she had grown up and seen that the path she had been on had only one ending. No one knows how Vi came to be working alongside Caitlin, but whatever secret binds them together can only be guessed at. Given the personal nature of a recent crime wave sweeping Piltover, speculation runs rife that it involves a certain blue-haired girl from Zone. Well people, thanks for tuning in for yet another video. Well, I can probably say that Riot hints towards the fact that Jinx and Vi are probably sisters. First of all, let's compare it to some facts we got on Vi. She has got her own gang and she had recruited some youths in it. We probably know that Echo is in it, so what stops Vi from recruiting Jinx? Second of all, it's also said that Vi was in a basket large enough to fit 2 babies. So that's another possibility as well. And final evidence is that the shopkeeper in Hollowing Abyss, the Piltover one, mentions that Vi has a sister, which they shouldn't probably be talking about.
You look like your sister. Wait, I'm not supposed to talk about that.
So, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, comment what you'd like to see in the next video. It's been Fed, and see you guys next time.